I don't have anything to sell to you today other than a couple of ideas. Just a couple of ideas of how we can maybe change our viewpoint on what customers are seeking. And I changed the title of my presentation a little bit to Contacts, Experiences, and Journeys, What Customers Really Want. And if we think about it, in most industries today, not just retail, but banking, telecom, just about everything, what we're selling isn't actually what the customer wants. So in most cases, we're selling a tool that a customer will use to generate some outcome. So if I go into a store and look for a suit, am I really buying a suit, or am I buying confidence in a business meeting? If I go buy a car, am I buying a car because I love the car, or am I buying a car because I love the way I feel when I'm singing at the top of my voice and at a stoplight, or when I'm next to an older car and I have a newer one and I feel good about that? I mean, if we were thinking about it rationally, anybody that was buying a car would probably buy the most fuel-efficient little box that if you couldn't find a place to park, you just pick it up and bring it inside with you. But honestly, we buy cars because of how we feel when we're in them. And so if we start thinking about business, not for what it is that we have to sell, but what it is that our customer's trying to achieve, then all of a sudden we see business very differently. So I'm going to start with customer contacts and thinking about it. So businesses that are digital natives, they learned to communicate with customers not in the physical space. And what have they all learned? They've all learned that communication in the physical space is kind of interesting and usually more effective. So a lot of them are merging into this phygital world where they have hybrid channels. I won't say omnichannel, but they're using different venues to communicate with customers. And if we look at all the traditional retailers, well, what have we done over the past 20 years? We've learned how to migrate into the phygital space as well, where we're using an array of different channels to interact with customers. And all of a sudden we start thinking about this and we say, okay, well, if we're all kind of here in this merging in the digital world, physical world, there's also another dimension to this, which is how we move from selling products to selling solutions that help a customer to achieve the outcome that they're seeking, and maybe even selling relationships where a customer can trust that every time they come to us, we're going to help them to achieve the outcome that they're seeking. So all of a sudden, there's this kind of evolution of business models that's happening, and the opportunity area is really over here. Moving into the digital world, all it's doing is increasing the visibility, the availability, and the price sensitivity of customers. If I know that I can find this product in 25 different places, and nobody's creating value for me outside of the product itself, then I'm going to find the cheapest one, and that's it. So all of a sudden, we get into this area, and why there are fewer players in this area of solutions and relationships is because it's hard. We've spent decades and decades learning how to sell and maybe service what we sold, but we haven't spent a lot of time learning how to help customers to achieve the desired outcome that they're seeking and help customers to have great relationships with us outside of an individual contact.